Okay, part 8. Now, hopefully you're beginning to recognize this kind of question. All right, we've got a quadratic equation and it looks a bit scary because although I've got x squareds and x's, I've also got other things floating around with k's in. But as with any quadratic equation, you're going to be thinking about what a equals, b equals, and c equals. Okay. Now, part A is a show that question, which means that this is our end point. So one of the worst things you can do is try and look at that and think about where it comes from. Okay, this is going to appear in its own good time. What our starting point is something that we've skipped past. We needed to look at this has real roots. So if you've got a, b, and c, some combination of a, b, and c for real roots has got to have that certain combination, something squared minus 4 times something has got to be something in relation to the number 0. So you have to put the correct symbol in here. Don't automatically assume that it's greater than or equal to, because you see that in this answer. Something could have happened to swap the sign round. So think clearly about real roots. Think about whether we want greater than, equal to, less than, or some combination of those, and set that up from the word go when you first mention this combination of a, b, and c. You need to set it up with the correct inequality sign in it from the very beginning. And then, so real roots leads to this, and then this should end up with our endpoint after I've multiplied it out and simplified it properly. Okay? All right, but then, hence, show that followed by hence nearly always means that this is a re-entry point. So B is indeed a re-entry point. So how do I find the possible values of K? Well, I'm starting with this. My starting point is this quadratic inequality. So you do two things for a quadratic inequality. Yes, you find the critical values. So you solve the equation equaling 0. So you attempt to factorize it, equals 0, or if you can't factorize it, you use the formula. Okay, but you end up with x equals and x equals as critical values, but then you use a graph, okay, and you compare the graph with the x-axis and you shade the correct bit of the graph and you use the graph to get the range or ranges of x. Okay, so make sure you give answers as ranges of the x that you have found out from a graph. So I hope that helps.